Welcome to the Deep Dive. We dig into articles, research, all sorts of insights, really, to give you the clearest take on a topic. And today, we're looking at a story that's pretty audacious, but also, surprisingly, it's kind of foundational to something, many of us use constantly.
Right. Like, just think about it for a second. How often do you pull out your phone, tack something, and boom, food, groceries, whatever, it just shows up?
Exactly. On-demand delivery. It feels so normal now, so integrated, it's almost hard to picture life before it.
It really does feel like this modern digital thing. But what if the actual blueprint for it, the logistics, the quick dispatch, that customer focus, what if that was laid down, like, decades ago?
Yeah, not by some tech guy in Silicon Valley.
No, not at all. But this really unconventional, flamboyant figure on the absolute fringes of society. No smartphones, no GPS.
And who it was is where it gets really interesting. We're talking about Micky Cesar. He lands in New York's Lower East Side, this is 1979, basically broke.
No money, yeah.
But he has this one big mission: make cannabis accessible to everyone. And he quickly gets known as the Pope of Pot.
A name he definitely ran with.
Oh, completely.
But see, what's key here is that Cesar wasn't just, a dealer looking for profit. His whole identity was wrapped up in being Jewish, super expressive, flamboyantly so, and deeply anti-authority.
Right.
For him, cannabis wasn't just a product. He framed it as a sacrament. Access. That was a civil right. It was way more than business. It was a crusade.
A personal crusade, yeah, with this definite political, cultural edge. And he'd actually honed this approach, this mix of, business smarts and radical thinking across the Atlantic.
Ah, right. Amsterdam.
Exactly. Before NYC, back in the 70s, he was already a big deal in Amsterdam. They called him the Paus Maus, the Pope Mouse.
Pope Maus, okay.
Yeah, operating off an Amstel houseboat. And get this, he wasn't just selling quietly. He was running actual ads for hennep-producing cannabis products.
Wow. So pretty open about it.
Incredibly.
Yeah.
Wholesaling 7 kilos a day to big clubs like Paradiso. He had staff, payroll,
benefits. For real.
Yep. And for a while, the city sort of, informally recognized his operation. Wild, right?
That's amazing. But I guess that couldn't last.
No, definitely not. Eventually got him deported back to the U.S.
But that Amsterdam experience, you can see how that shaped everything. He learned operations, how to build a community, so when he gets back to New York, he doesn't just, set up shop.
No, he establishes the Church of Realized Fantasies.
Which sounds theatrical in itself.
Totally. And it wasn't just a name. It was this bright yellow storefront, 13th and Hudson, plants in the window. It really became a community spot, a safe space almost.
A hub?
A hub, exactly, where his unique kind of ministry could happen.
And he brought that showmanship with him, right? The whole performance aspect.
Oh, absolutely. He'd hold these services wearing a custom-made papal mitre, the big hat.
Yeah.
But his had a giant, 9-inch cannabis leaf on it and a polka dot ribbon. It was something else.
Definitely making a statement.
And he had this signature laugh, this booming aha. Everyone knew it. He wasn't subtle. He took it to the streets, handing out free joints at May Day events, Wigstock.
Wigstock, wow.
Yeah, even ACTUP rallies. He turned distribution into this public performance, this act of defiance. It was all about the message, the liberation.
So you've got this larger-than-life character, the showman, building this powerful brand, this community. It's fascinating, but you said it earlier, underneath all that.
Right. Beneath the persona, the ministry, was this operational genius. And that's maybe the most surprising part.
It really is how this guy, known for being so out there, so defiant, also built this system that was just, decades ahead.
Absolutely. His public image is so strong, it almost hides the real innovation we want to dig into today. The 800 Want Pot hotline.
Ah, the hotline.
This wasn't just a phone number people called. It was like an early blueprint for on-demand delivery. Think about it. No apps, no internet as we know it.
Nothing like that.
And he's handling, 100, maybe 200 calls a day, especially during that big cannabis drought in New York in the 90s. Finding anything good was tough then.
Yeah, a major drought, so his service would have been crucial.
So, okay, let's unpack this. How did this flamboyant, anti-authoritarian figure, the self-proclaimed Pope of Pot, become this unlikely pioneer of modern logistics? What was actually going on behind the scenes?
Well, it really comes down to a few key things. First, his operational structure was incredibly intricate. It allowed for efficiency, but also, crucially, discretion.
More than just the yellow storefront, though.
Oh, much more. He had 2 apartments, 2 separate offices, plus the church. all acting as hubs for different parts of the business, storing inventory, taking orders, dispatch, settling money.
Okay, so a network.
A real network. And his daily routine was super disciplined, almost military, you could say, every morning. Inventory checks everywhere. He needed to know exactly what he had, where it was, the quality. That's vital for quick dispatch.
Makes sense. You got to know what you can promise.
Exactly. And deliveries. Strictly daytime only. That was a hard rule. Partly for safety, his explicit policy was no after-dark jackings.
Right. Dangerous business.
Very. But also for consistency, and probably less heat from the cops. Orders came in, likely taken down by hand by a small team, noting all the details, then dispatched discreetly. Pagers, maybe? Secure comms?
Pagers, yeah. That takes you back.
Right. And then, every single night, without fail, financials were settled up, often in person. This wasn't just some random street thing. It was managed tightly. Trust and strict rules were everything.
That level of organization, especially for something illegal, it's really something. It shows a real grasp of process managing risk. But maybe even more impressive was how he got his couriers so loyal. It wasn't just about the money, right? This patronage system. What was that?
Yeah, that was absolutely critical. Maybe his real genius. See, without legal backup, Mickey knew loyalty wasn't just, nice. It was survival for everyone.
So how did he build it?
He created this patronage system. It went way beyond just paying wages. He looked after his couriers, holistically, almost like a family head. He'd feed them meals from his place or local spots he knew.
Right.
He fixed their bikes, their main tool, right, out of his own pocket. He even covered dental bills sometimes. Think about that. Dental work is expensive.
Wow.
And he'd help out with medications if they needed them. It showed genuine care. But it was also smart business.
How so?
Because that investment, that personal connection, it built this incredibly strong bond. They weren't just gig workers. They were his people, part of the church.
Right. His community.
Exactly. And that loyalty meant reliability, discretion, resilience against all the pressures. It kept quality up. And importantly, it minimized the risk of someone flipping, which is huge in that world.
That's brilliant, actually. A really human-centric approach long before corporations started talking about company culture. And that loyalty, that community, it wasn't just good for business. It was probably essential protection, given the dangers, which leads to, well, a pretty dramatic part of his story, his defiance against real threats. Tell us about that time in the mid-'80s, the hitmen trying to extort him.
Right, that incident really cemented the legend. Mid-'80s, his operations booming, getting noticed, and this notorious Puerto Rican hitman crew decides they want a piece, protection money, standard stuff in the underworld.
And they expected him to just pay up.
Of course. But Mickey, true to form, totally anti-authoritarian, he just refused. Flat out.
Oh.
No negotiation, no fear, just...
Bold move.
Yeah.
Extremely bold.
And the retaliation was swift and brutal, as you'd expect.
He got shot.
Yeah.
6 times, right, with a .22.
6 times. But here's where the story gets almost mythical.
Yeah.
The bullets apparently lodged in his considerable body fat didn't hit anything vital.
You're kidding.
Nope. He literally walked away from it. Shot 6 times and walked away. Defiance totally intact.
Real.
Unbroken.
Incredible. Pure luck,
Yeah.
maybe, but talk about adding to the legend. Made him seem untouchable.
Absolutely. It became part of his mystique.
So you have this untouchable, defiant figure, and then, ironically, his fame really blows up because of something completely random.
Right.
An ad he placed.
Yeah, it's wild. He puts a small ad in a paper. Somehow it catches the eye of Howard Stern.
Howard Stern.
The Howard Stern. This is peak Stern popularity. He calls Mickey live on the air.
Oh, wow.
And Mickey, he's a natural performer. He just rolls with it, joking, talking to millions of people. And it's right there on that show that he really leans into and kind of officially becomes the Pope of Pot.
So Stern basically christened him for the masses.
Pretty much. It took him from being this local Lower East Side legend to suddenly a nationally known figure, at least among Stern's audience. His brand just exploded.
But that kind of fame, especially for what he was doing, that puts a massive target on your back.
Huge. You can't operate at that scale with that kind of public persona, calling yourself the Pope of Pot, and not expect law enforcement to eventually come knocking hard.
So the police investigation started ramping up then?
Absolutely. They were definitely watching, started making undercover buys, September, October 1990, just building the case brick by brick. They needed solid proof linking him directly.
And they got it.
Yep. A handoff on Halloween, apparently. That was the final piece they needed for the warrants. Then, November 14th, the raid.
The big one.
Coordinated. They grabbed messengers, seized the phone lines, the 800 number, the heart of it all, and they cuffed the Pope himself, found pounds of cannabis, and news cameras were right there, rolling on everything, made sure it was a public spectacle.
A very public takedown. The end of that era, really. But the story doesn't quite end there, does it? The personal cost, the fallout, that was pretty brutal, too.
Oh, it was devastating. The disruption was immediate. Rivals, seeing an opening, mob-connected guys, they cut his phone lines, crippled the whole delivery system instantly.
Just like that.
Yeah. And worse, people started impersonating cops, robbing his couriers, who were suddenly exposed, vulnerable. The whole protective network just crumbled.
Awful. And his health suffered, too, right?
Massively. The stress was immense. Diabetes hit him hard, and his weight just plummeted. He lost hundreds of pounds financially. Total implosion. The 800 line was dead. Landlords wanted rent. Lawyers wanted fees. It all fell apart.
But even then, even losing everything, that defiance didn't completely disappear, did it?
That's the incredible thing, no. Even amidst all that chaos and loss, he's still Mickey. His final act, in a way, was filing complaints because weight was missing from what the police seized.
He complained about missing drugs.
Yep. Basically telling the cops, hey, play fair. Account for everything you took. Even in total defeat, he's sticking to his unique principles, refusing to be completely broken.
Wow. He lost the empire, but not the spirit.
Never lost the spirit.
It really is something. And when you step back and look at his whole story, Micky Cesar, this vibrant, defiant guy, connects so directly to today. It's kind of startling.
It really is.
You look at today's delivery apps. Food, groceries, whatever the model is right there. Central intake, fast dispatch. Couriers is the lifeline.
The brand story building trust.
Exactly. His brand was Cannabis and this flamboyant rebellion. But the mechanics, they echo. Central hub, quick dispatch, couriers mattering, a strong identity.
And, maybe operating illegally forced some of that innovation without legal safety nets. Things like trust, discretion, that fierce courier loyalty, they weren't just good ideas, they were essential. He had to build a system where logistics and a human culture worked together perfectly.
Logistics plus culture.
Yeah, and that combination proved incredibly resilient, even against massive pressure. He basically wrote the playbook, proving ingenuity pops up in the unlikeliest places, often driven by necessity. No apps, no digital tools, just clever systems and human connection.
So love him or hate him, you have to admit, the Pope of Pot was way ahead of his time.
Decades ahead. Logistics plus culture, like you said, it outlasts crackdowns.
It's really remarkable to think about. This whole story, it just shows how often real innovation comes from the edges, sometimes from places operating outside the lines. Which kind of leaves us with a question for you, the listener. How many other figures like Micky Cesar might be out there, historically or even now, operating in the shadows, maybe breaking rules, but unknowingly creating the blueprints for industries we now see as totally normal, totally legitimate? What does that tell us about where ideas come from, about entrepreneurship, how laws and society change over time, and, that long arc of acceptance?